Okay. So, wow, last week, now that I'm thinking about it, because you had just asked me if I was feeling better, and I don't really know in terms of like what's going on in the world. I think I still am in the process um of just sitting with it about what's happening. I've always been a really like the issues that I've always voted on since I was able to legally vote have really centered around women's rights, gay rights, and human rights. Um, so I've always had a clear, delineation of how I used my vote to really protect Roe versus Wade. And the overturning of that, I don't know that I ever thought I would see in my lifetime. And it's really, makes me worried for my daughter's future. Even when I've got an associate's degree, I went to college for a few years to do that part time, and I studied. Oh my gosh, my degree is in it's liberal arts with an emphasis on women's studies. So this does really hit home for me. I think that as women, we should have the right to choose what's medically best for our bodies. And having carried two children and becoming a mother, man, there's nothing harder in the world. The changes that your body goes through and just your whole life changes, and it's a beautiful thing, but no one should be forced to do that if they're not ready for it, in my opinion. And I respect that many people feel strongly about the right to about the importance of life, and yet we can't make these medical decisions for other people. And I listened to POTUS, this political talk radio, and they had this doctor on who's the head of obstetrics and gynecology at a medical training school in Connecticut. I forget which one. And she was just talking about when we have people making policy who aren't doctors, who don't know the intricacies and the gray areas that overlap within these medical decisions, how it really does get dangerous. It gets very unclear, and that becomes dangerous. And I have some people I know from my past high school who we have strong differing views on this. And one of them, this guy that I know, said like, well, don't worry, because in all of these states, if the mother's life is in danger, then these anti-abortion laws don't apply, which just isn't true. And I just keep thinking about that. Like, we just assume like, oh, well, we assume that the woman would be advocated for, and that's not the case. And I'm kind of tangenting here, but I think this notion of advocacy when it comes to our bodies is so important in any kind of just to be a person in a body, to have the right to advocate for yourself, for your own health, is really important and really difficult when we're dealing with the stress of an illness or an undesired pregnancy or whatever it might be that's going on with us physically. It's so easy to shut down and to not ask questions and to not feel like we have power or control over ourselves because of the doctor's expertise or laws that regulate what we can do. And I saw this with Chris with his cancer, and really not feeling empowered to, or just so overwhelmed that he couldn't think to ask questions, and really needed someone, which was me, to advocate for him. And even when we come to a physical practice like yoga, like asana, this idea of advocacy is so important, and how we can be our own advocate, because no one understands what's happening in our body better than we do. And yoga teachers are really just guides. Like, I will guide you through a practice today, but only you know how that feels in your body. And if I say, do this, and it feels wrong, then yoga empowers us to really listen and to say, no, that's not right for me. And when we know this, when we can really center in on what is right for our body, for our experience in this physical self, then we can make choices that are in the best alignment for us. So today we're going to play with that in our poses. So take a comfortable seat. Sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes. And welcome your breath. So the first thing we do when we're practicing the 8 limbs of yoga, the first thing that we do is we check in with the physical body. We make any adjustments to our alignment so that we could be in the best seat or asana for our bodies at this present time. So feel your hips on the ground and your legs, and allow them to get heavy and balanced. And then inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head, and take your shoulders up, back, and down. And then see if you could align your center channel so that your rib cage and torso are balanced right over the pelvis. The center of your head is right above your tailbone. Draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Elbows hang just under your shoulders. And so now we're in an aligned posture where hopefully we can settle in and relax. Hopefully it's a comfortable enough position that we could be here for a little while. So check in and see, is there anything that needs to shift or change for your body in this moment? And then we begin the practice of pranayama, this mindful breathing, where we can shift the awareness from the physical body to the breath. And begin to make the breaths fuller, longer, more enriching. And with the eyes closed, we invite in the practice of pratyahara, which is turning inward, where we can drop back and down into ourselves. And then comes dharana, this practice of concentration. And here we're concentrating on the breath. We're concentrating on softening, relaxing. And then all of these things together become the practice of dhyana, which is meditation. Sitting in this mindfulness, training the mind to concentrate and focus. Taking a step backwards from the thinking mind, from the brain, and not attaching to the thoughts and stories and judgments that it likes to spin, the stories that it tells. And as we do this, as we practice all of the limbs of yoga at once, at least these 6 right now, because we also have the yamas and the niyamas. But for this physical practice right now, we move towards finding samadhi, which is this union, the union of the self with the object of meditation, the calm and quiet mind. And once we're here, I imagine that if we could all move into this space of calm centeredness, this space of being embodied in our physical self, of coming home to that higher part of ourselves that's not just our ego or our thoughts, that if all humans could move into this space, that perhaps we would see things differently. Perhaps instead of being so attached to what we believe is right or our own truth, that perhaps we could step outside of our own experience and really, truly be a vessel to hear and hold the experience of someone else with compassion and an open heart. Bring your hands together in front of your heart space. I invite you to set an intention for your practice today, and maybe it's just this mindfulness of what's happening in your body, and practicing just for the next 45 minutes, being your own advocate within your yoga practice. What feels best for me right now? What do I need in my practice? How can I participate in this collective experience, this group class, and also modify or change or transform the practice so that it best suits my body, my own needs. And let's begin our class and sealing our intentions with 3 cleansing breaths. Take a deep breath in. Let it go with a sigh. 2 more like that. And gently bow your head to your heart. Slowly open your eyes and release your hands. So today's practice, we will use some blocks, and we're going to take the blocks right now and come into a gentle heart bench. So what that might mean is that instead of doing heart bench the way you normally do with the blocks at their highest and medium setting, that maybe you drop that down to be lowest and medium, or maybe the higher settings are what's best for your body today. So you'll come to sit, knees bent, feet on the ground, spine nice and long. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lower yourself down so that the first block comes right behind the back of the heart, and the second block is right to the occiput, to the back of the head, maybe just a little higher. And here, you'll check in. Are my blocks in the right place? Do I need to move them a little bit? When we're in a live class, an in-person class rather, we could have a teacher come and maybe make a couple adjustments based on what they see. And then we feel into our bodies and notice, is that, oh yeah, that's better. Or maybe not, maybe I liked it better before. When we take these live classes virtually via Zoom or any recorded class, when we're practicing on our own, we need to do this for ourselves. Can I make myself a little more comfortable? Can I take the time to adjust and see and be my own advocate? And take your arms down by your sides with your palms face up and drop your shoulders back. Let them start to feel the weight of gravity and move towards the ground. And as you breathe, lift the heart. Feel the back of the heart space being supported by the block. And it's from this base of support that we can allow the front of the chest and the heart to rise. You can keep your knees bent, feet on the ground, or you could extend your legs long, or any other leg shape that you like that feels best for you. But as you change the shape of the legs, notice how it changes the experience of the back bend, of the heart opening. So maybe we really love soles of the feet together and knees wide because it feels so good on the hips. But if it's bypassing the opening of the heart, if it's allowing that upper back to round a little bit more, then maybe we don't do that shape of the legs, even though we love it. Often in our yoga practice, we come back to what feels comfortable and familiar and what we enjoy, right? When given the opportunity to make adjustments or choose our own modifications. And sometimes what we enjoy and what feels safe and comfortable is in fact not what we need. We avoid these areas of tightness and instead move into spaces where we're more flexible, where it feels easier to open up. So when things start to feel uncomfortable, a little tight, a little tense, can we breathe into it? Can we lean into that experience and practice holding space for ourselves in that discomfort? From here, very gently roll off of your blocks, coming onto your side, curling up in a little ball and giving yourself a space to pause. And then we'll slowly come up to all fours, making your way to tabletop. You can move your blocks off to the side. Set yourself up for cat-cow, wrists under your shoulders, knees just under your hips or slightly behind. Toes can be tucked. Take a look down the front of the body. Your heels should be hidden behind your feet, feet kind of hidden behind your thighs. And then begin to move with your breath as you inhale. The pelvis tilts, tailbone lifts, belly softens, heart melts, gaze turns up. And as you exhale, tailbone lengthens as the pelvis scoops, the belly draws in, ribs pull back, chin comes to your chest. And begin to flow here with your breath. Can you check in and see what happens if you make some kind of small modification? What would feel best for your body today? Maybe that means that you don't go 100% into the back bend, that you pull back a little bit, engage the front of the body a little bit more. Maybe it means that you hold a particular shape. Maybe you really round the back and hold for a few breaths and press the mat forward and away. And then as you inhale, come back to a neutral spine. We'll move into a Vashisthasana variation. You'll turn your right foot, pivot it over to the right, off of your mat, toes stay tucked under. Bring all of the weight into your right hand, roll the eye of the elbow forward. Extend your left leg, back, sole of the foot on the ground, and inhale, left arm comes up. And here you'll check in. So if we've been doing poses, if we've been practicing yoga for years and years now, we might just come into a shape just very, oh, this is how I do this pose. This is how this shape is in my body. And maybe by making just a few adjustments, we can access another area of the body. We can have a different experience in the pose. We can get into an area that's a little harder to access. So just play around with making a few adjustments. And then from here, bend your elbow, bring your left hand onto your heart, peel your heart open towards the sky, coming into a little more of a back bend here. And then you can extend the left arm out in line with your ear and open up the pose. Exhale and release. And come into cat-cow. Few breaths here. And then come back to a neutral spine. Pivot your left foot off of the mat. Extend your right leg back. Press into your left hand. Inhale, sweep the right arm up to the sky. Coming into this Vashisthasana variation. And then play here. Maybe you take your right foot back a couple of inches on the ground. Maybe you rotate your rib cage so that it's facing the wall in front of you a little more. You could play with pressing your hips forward. And then bend your right elbow, bring the palm of your hand to your heart, and then use your hand to peel the heart open. Gaze up towards the sky, and then from there you can extend the right arm out in line with your ear. Get really long through the side body and breathe. And exhale, release. Let's move into child's pose for a couple of breaths. Knees wide, big toes together. Send your hips back towards your heels and bring your forehead to the earth. And now make your way into downward facing dog. Down dog is this shape that becomes very familiar when we practice yoga. And the first down dog may feel really challenging. Eventually it starts to feel more like a resting pose. But we tend to kind of come into it the same way all of the time. So here, check in with your hands and see if you could use the whole surface of your hands to engage into your mat. Check in with your feet, see that they're hip bone or sitting distance apart. Are your heels hidden behind your feet? Are the four corners of your knees pointing forward? The thumbs draw in towards each other, and the forearms, they rotate inward and lift up away from the mat. Then the shoulders rotate externally. So it's like we're hiding our armpits from whatever's next to us, next to our mats. We want the neck and the head to continue on the same line as the spine. So feel the tailbone lifting up towards the sky. And then in your mind's eye, travel all the way up the spine, through the neck and out through the crown of the head. And allow this to be on one long line. Hips lift, sitting bones roll up towards the sky. Firm your shoulder blades toward the tailbone. They broaden across the upper back. Bend your knees, send your sitting bones up towards the sky. Draw the low belly in towards your spine. And then begin to straighten out your legs and root your heels towards the ground, and notice the difference in your down dog. On your next inhale, walk your feet forward to meet your hands, and exhale as you fold. Press down into your feet. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a few breaths here in Tadasana. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the whole surface of your foot, and allow that to get heavy on the earth. Press down into your heels. Draw energy up your legs. Move your inner thighs back and then firm and hug your outer thighs in. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, bow forward and fold. Fingertips come towards to the earth or onto your blocks. Inhale, lengthen halfway to a flat back. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky, and exhale, hands to heart center. Take your feet as wide as your hips. Bend your knees. Take your sitting bones back. So the knees don't come forward of the toes. They move back so you can see all of your toes. Really stick your butt out, widen the sitting bones, draw the low belly in, pull your ribs in. Inhale, reach your arms up, coming into Utkatasana. Keep the knees tracking over the second toe. Press your feet into the mat, and imagine that you could spread your mat in two. Use your breath. What could you do here to make this difficult position a little bit easier on yourself? Could you relax your jaw, soften your tongue, deepen your breath? And then exhale, release and fold. Take a big step back with your left foot. Grab your blocks, have them on either side of your right foot. Right knee is over your right ankle. Press your left thigh up towards the sky and hug the legs in towards each other. You can come up onto the highest setting of your blocks. And here we're going to bend and straighten the front leg. So as you inhale, straighten the leg, and exhale, bend your knee. Move with your breath. The next time you bend your front knee, pause here, and we'll do the same kind of pulsation with the back leg. So as you inhale, leg stay straight, and then exhale, bend your knee, touch it to the mat. Pulse like this. The next time you straighten the back leg, stay here in your lunge. Bring your left hand down to the ground and inhale, sweep your right arm up as you twist. Open up the heart. Exhale, release. We'll step back into downward facing dog and move through a vinyasa here. As you inhale, come forward to a high plank. Exhale to lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale up into cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, walk your feet forward to meet your hands, and exhale as you fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale as you bow forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, big step back, now with your right leg. Left knee stays over the left ankle. Press your right thigh up towards the sky. Find the setting of your blocks that works best for your body. And then we'll begin to pulse here. Inhale, straighten your front leg, and exhale, bend your knee. And notice if this side feels very different. And the next time you bend your left knee, we'll stay here and then do the same pulsation with the back leg. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, drop your knee down. And the next time you straighten your back leg, pause here in your lunge. Bring your right hand down to the ground. Inhale, sweep your left arm up. Curl the heart open, maybe lean back. And exhale, release, downward facing dog. Move through a vinyasa here. You can always stay in down dog or rest in child's pose. From downward facing dog, inhale, step your feet forward to meet your hands, and exhale as you bow. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Take a wide stance on your mat. Extend your arms straight out from your shoulders. Align your ankles right under your wrists. Interlace your hands behind your back. Take your shoulders up, back, and down. Lift the heart. Start to move the arms away from the body as you inhale. And as you exhale, hinge from your hips, bow forward and fold. Resist the shoulders away from the ground, away from your ears. And see if you could concentrate and focus your breath right into the back of the heart space.
Release the clasp of your hands, bring your hands down to the ground. Walk your hands over towards your right foot and bow over the right leg. Walk your hands back through center and then take them over to the left leg. Bowing over that leg. Walk your hands back through center and again over to the right foot. This time turn your right toes to face forward. Bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Open up into side angle, Parsva Konasana. Left arm comes out in line with your ear. Bring your left hand down onto your hip. Take your right hand to a block. Toe heel your back foot in and step your block up and out to the right just a little bit. Bring all of the weight into your right foot and coming up into crescent half moon. Left arm up to the sky. Maybe you gaze up into your top thumb. Slowly step back. Side angle one more time. And then cartwheel your arms down. Walk them and take your block with you all the way over to your left foot. Left toes pivot forward. Come into side angle here. Left forearm on your thigh. Right arm extends out over your ear. Could you bend a little bit more into your front knee? Weight your hips down towards the earth a little bit more. Check in and see what would best serve you in this pose today. And then bring your right hand to your hip. Left hand comes down to a block. Toe heel your back foot in just slightly and step your left hand up and out to the left. Press into your left foot. Step up into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Maybe right arm lifts, maybe gaze comes up towards that thumb. And then slowly step on out. Come back through side angle for a breath. Cartwheel your arms down, walk your hands over to center, turn your left toes in until you're in a wide-legged forward fold, and breathe here. Inhale, lengthen to halfway, long spine. Exhale, hands to your hips, and inhale, come all the way up to stand. Step or jump your feet together. Pause here in Tadasana. And feel into your body. Feel the full surface of the feet on the ground. Hug your shins in towards each other. All four corners of the kneecap point straight out. The inner thighs move in, back, and apart. The outer hips wrap and hug in. Lengthen through the side bodies. Rib cage pulls in, belly tones to the spine, shoulders up, back, and down. Center of the head right over the tailbone. Relax your tongue in your mouth. Relax your jaw. And see here if you could drop back and down into yourself.
From here, move to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Lift the heart, gaze up. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, step back into down dog. You can move through a final vinyasa here. And then we'll make our way down onto our backs. Take a block here and place it right in between your feet. Then bring your right foot up onto the block. And ideally you want the block long, so most of your foot fits onto it. And then cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh. So recline pigeon here with a block under your right foot. Flex your left foot. From the left hip, press the left thigh away from the body. And breathe. Arms can release down by your sides. Keep the heart open, collarbones broaden. Shoulder blades draw onto your back and broaden. And allow yourself to just be here. Go ahead and switch sides. So you'll shift the block over, bring your left foot onto the block, cross your right ankle over the top of the left thigh. From the right hip, press the thigh away. See if you could evenly distribute the weight over your sacrum, your low back. Relax the shoulders back and down. Soften the tongue in your mouth. Relax your jaw. Go ahead and release, move the block off to the side. Take your feet mat distance apart. Bring your arms out to cactus and windshield your wiper your legs side to side here. Then add in your gaze. So as the knees go to the right, you look over the left shoulder. The knees move to the left, you look over the right shoulder. One more time each direction. And then knees back to center, hug your knees into your chest. Take your knees wide, soles of the feet up towards the sky. Grab onto the pinky toe edges of your feet, or you could take your ankles, finding happy baby. And then when this pose feels complete for you, you can make your way into Shavasana. Extend your legs long. Let the feet gently flop open to the sides, arms down by your sides with palms face up. And take a moment to see what else you would need to do here in order to find the most comfort that you could in your body. Take a full inhale, deep breath in. Let it go with a sigh. Make a little space between your lower jaw and your upper jaw. And let your tongue get heavy and wide on the lower palate. Widen the corners of your eyes and let the eyeballs descend back into their sockets. Let the whole body get heavy on the mat. Let the whole body rest. And give yourself permission to fully surrender into Shavasana. Very gently begin to deepen your breath. Begin to draw awareness back into your body as you wiggle your fingers, your toes. You can start to move and stretch in any way that feels right for you. When you're ready, hug your knees into your chest. Gently roll to your right side and make your way back up to find a comfortable seat. Once you arrive, close your eyes. Bring your hands together at heart center. Take a moment to honor yourself for your practice, both on and off the mat. and this ability to practice being embodied, being within our own body, sensing into what it needs, being willing to listen, to honor, and to trust that we know what's best for ourselves. And from there, we can have the strength to speak about it, to stand up for ourselves, to be our own advocate, and to know that no one knows our own bodies better than us. And it is from here that we can fully embrace and take charge of our own wellness, our own well-being. Call back your intention that you set at the beginning of class, hold it here, and let's seal it in with a final cleansing breath. Deep breath in, and let it go with a sigh. Gently bow your head to your heart. The light within me recognizes and honors this very same light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for your practice. Have a wonderful weekend, wonderful holiday weekend, and I will see you next week.